15 years after police brutal killing, families still demand justice. Ifeanyi Ozo and Augustina Arebu could have been celebrating 15 years of marriage if they were still alive. The event would have been colorful even with the restrictions on public gatherings caused by the coronavirus pandemic, given Ifeanyi's flamboyant lifestyle. His immediate younger brother Elvis told. Hello everyone, welcome back to Make with Gist. If you're new here, consider subscribing and be part of this awesome family. Yes, at just 22 and 25, when the love story was still budding, Ifeanyi and Augustina were gunned down in cold blood, along with 4 of their friends by trigger-happy police officers 15 years ago today, or rather 16, in one of the most heinous extrajudicial killings Nigerians can remember. The night of June 7, 2005 was meant to be a night of merry-making for the potential couple and their friends, but Nigerians would later be reactivated with the horrific news of their deaths in the hands of the police who were supposed to protect them. The Apo Six killings, as people began to refer to the case, shocked the country at the time. To the public, it was another sad case of extrajudicial killing. But life as it was, for the families and loved ones of the victims, Ifeanyi Ozo, Chinedu Meniru, Augustina Arebu, Anthony Uwokike, Paulinus Ogbonna, and Ekene Isaac Mbe would have been the same, and their life would never be the same again. The crude reality has been tears. The night marked the beginning of months-long meetings, court appearances and adjournment, physical and emotional exhaustions, nightmares and more deaths. Worse still, families of the victims says justice is not yet served. A decade and a half has passed, but the some glory memories of the murderers and have stayed with them. Out of shock, my father had a stroke and died. Edwin Meniru, the elder brother to Chinedu of the Apo Six murderers. Love story turned sour. Ifeanyi Ozo, the eldest of the 5 siblings, hails from Eziogu in Enugu State, southeast Nigeria, though the family was raised in Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria. After years of apprenticeship, Ifeanyi and his 4 friends in their early and mid-20s had become car parts merchants at the Apo Mechanics village in the Nigerian capital of Abuja. They all met and became friends in Abuja, so when Augustina, Ifeanyi's new girlfriend, arrived from Benin that night of June 7, they all decided to give her an unforgettable treat. Indeed. My brother's relationship with Augustina was new, but the way he talks about her makes me believe she's the one. He had the vibe of excitement and expectancy that evening, Mr. Elvis said. The friends headed for their unusual rendezvous at lounge at Grand Mirage Hotel at Port Harcourt Street off Gimbiya Street, Garki, Abuja. It was there that then Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP Danjuma Ibrahim allegedly began making romantic advances on Augustina's fiancé. It was her first visit to Abuja and her first meeting with her lover. After a face-off ensued when she turned down the love advances, Mr. Ibrahim allegedly stormed out of the nightclub. He went to the checkpoint at the end of the street and told officers on duty that he had sighted a group of armed robbers in the areas. A report by the Judicial Panel of Inquiry set up by former Mr. President Olusegun Obasanjo revealed When the six unwary victims on their way home arrived at the Gambia checkpoint in a Peugeot 406 car, Mr. Ibrahim allegedly had the car blocked and ordered the officers to shoot at the occupants after an argument. 4 of them, unarmed, died at the spot in a blaze of gunfire. Another, Anthony and Augustina, who survived the initial onslaught, were finished off in the wee hours of June 8 by police officers who claimed they attempted to escape from custody. Augustina was equally strangled, evidence showed. What a shock outrage. When Evis, Ifeanyi's younger brother, arrived at Apo Market later in the morning, there was an unusual crowd. There was also a cold feeling. People spoke in low tones and 3 awkward glances at him, he narrated. At first, nobody said anything until a reliable friend called me and told me that my brother was shot. We then went to the Gaki police station only to confirm that he was dead, Thierry Elvis said. Ever since then, I'm yet to recover from the shock I felt that moment. The news of the incident drew immediate public outrage. A riot erupted across the city. When the news broke that a particular morning, the old Apo mechanic village was shot, said Emeka Ani, an long-world friend of the victims. There was no business for more than a week due to the crisis and riots that followed. We believed in those boys. We knew they were innocent. We moved to the police station in Apo in Gaki. Ogori saying, Premier Times cannot publish pictures of the bodies, but we were able to get some beautiful pictures of these victims. The police horrible buried them at the back of their station to cover up their tracks, but a panel of inquiry ordered that they be exhumed months later so as to run an autopsy. The autopsy found that they were shot at close range, contrary to the police claim that they were armed robbers who they engaged in a gun battle at a distance. Mr. Miniro, who survived the first onslaught, quickly called his elder brother Edwin to inform him that what was happening, but life was also snuffed out of him by the rampaging cops. He was shot at close range in the mouth. There is nowhere else to look except the bodies. There is a close-up of a face gaping as it wound at the temple. Amobi Izelu, the then lawyer of the victim's family, was quoted in a BBC article of May 5, 2009. Limbs in tortoise, covers in blood, dead eyes stared upward. This is a human being. Look what they did, the police. Justice denied. The Judicial Panel of Inquiry found the police accounts that the victims were armed robbers to be false and recommended by Mr. Ibrahim and his men for trial. The 5 accused officers and 8 other police witnesses testified that Mr. Ibrahim ordered the killings. All the officers were placed on suspensions. After more than a decade of protracted court proceedings that left the victim's family emotionally and financially drained, the Apo Six were pronounced innocent. Naija, which way? 2 of the officers involved were convicted and sentenced to death on March 9, 2017 in a landmark of judgment of the FCT High Court. But the presiding judge, Ishak Bello, said there was not enough evidence to convict Mr. Danjuma, who allegedly ordered the shootings. This will mark the beginning of another tortuous road to justice for the families who had rejected the judgment. Reinstated, rewarded. While they were making effort towards appealing the case, the police confirmed that Mr. Danjuma had been reinstated into the force. It said that reinstatement was approved by the then police service commissioner, which relied on the judgment of the court that freed him after finding him not culpable. Mr. Danjuma's rank was restored. His accumulated salaries from June 2005 were also paid, with plans to send him on a refresher course. A police memo published by Sahara reporters showed in December of that year he received double promotions. From the rank of Deputy Commissioner of Police (DCP), he was promoted to Commissioner of Police and then to Assistant Inspector General of Police (AIG), according to a Daily Trust report. The families see this as height of injustice. All moves made towards appealing the ruling were reportedly frustrated by the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF Abubakar Malami. The families restored to their lawyer and resorted Amobi Nzelu, who promised to find a way to appeal the case but has not done so. Now an era of ritual. Meanwhile, the families and friends of the victims have resorted to holding a year ritual in their remembrance at the exact spot in Gibiua Junction, which used to be a police checkpoint where the Apo Six were slaughtered. We will observe our yearly ritual in remembrance of our loved ones, Elvis told Nigerians. We will light 7 candles. 6 will represent the Apo Six, while the 7th will represent God Almighty. We will sing praises because our happiness at the end of the day is that they were declared innocent. From there, we will move to Nepa Junction and then to some orphanage home. He said the families will keep pursuing the case because, aside the fact that the man who ordered the shootings was free, the families are yet to be compensated as recommended by the panel of inquiry. My brother Ifeanyi was the breadwinner of the family. We have not yet recovered since his death. That is why we are not giving up until justice is fully served. Indeed, this is part of the things that go on in Nigeria. Extrajudicial killings happens every day, all in the name of police power and police brutality. It is very sad that beautiful young souls were murdered all because of this man Ibrahim, who wanted to be with the girl in question and then lied and ordered the killings of these innocent young souls. And the sad part is that he is still in service and he has a higher rank and with extravagant salary. It is so sad. Justice for these people, indeed. I hope they get what they deserve. Hello guys, if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel and be part of this awesome family. If you want us to cover more of crime stories, please let us know on the description below, and please share it to your friends. You might be able to reopen this case by sharing this beautiful video. It is sad what happened to them. Sad indeed. Cheers guys, have a wonderful day. Bye.